Behavior, especially canine behavior. What is normal, what is not? Hi, I'm Charles and you're watching Our Protection Dogs. And if you haven't done so, please subscribe to our channel and please look at our other videos that we've got regarding the development, training of a protection dog. So, thinking of behavior, and we're thinking of human behavior especially, it is a bunch of actions and reactions that is taken for growth, reproduction and survival. All right, so it's exactly the same with dogs. So dogs have got a certain behavior that classifies it as a dog. Now, thinking of the closest being to a wolf, and that goes thousands of years back, the dog of what we see today as environment or its behavior coexists with its environment, which is where humans are. We don't find dogs in the wild anymore, unless we're thinking now of jackals and wild dogs and wolves. Dogs are very far from that. If you just think of, for instance, a pug or a bulldog, we can see that there is no more wolf in them today. So we are talking about the ethology of a dog. Ethology, the study of animal behavior as found in their natural environment. All right, so let's talk about the natural environment of the dog and problems, behavior problems. So there's a lot of things that can be said about behavior. In short, we've got the behavior of dogs once they get born with a certain behavior, inherited behavior. Then they have a behavior that is taught by mom, especially by mom, or pack mentality, that is behavior. Then there is the behavior where the dog learns by itself, for instance with operant and classical conditioning. So there's a lot of behaviors that's going to change. You have the set behaviors and you're going to have behaviors that is learned as it goes along. But a lot of things that people don't understand is there is abnormal behavior, there is normal behavior, and there is unwanted behavior. And the unwanted behavior comes in where you and me as a human, stuff that we don't want. Abnormal behavior. Dog is lying sleeping, the next moment it jumps up and starts biting its own tail until it bleeds. The dog starts spinning in circles, chasing its tail, and is very aggressive towards that, and then all of a sudden stops. That is all abnormal behaviors. There is a bunch of abnormal behaviors if you want to go through it. Normal behavior is the normal behavior of a dog. It lies there, sleeps, gets up, maybe is thirsty, goes, drinks water, runs outside, chases a bird, comes into the sea, maybe licks your leg, carries on, falls asleep in its bed. Normal behavior. There's absolutely nothing to it. Then you have unwanted behavior. My favorite explanation of unwanted behavior is a Persian carpet and the grass outside. The dog doesn't see the difference. Taking a dump on your Persian carpet, taking a dump outside on the grass is the damn same thing, unless we teach it that it's not allowed to do its defecation or do anything on the carpet. It's only allowed to do it outside. For the dog to get punished for that in the beginning, it's really, really unfair, because it's quite a normal behavior for him, but it's an unwanted behavior by us, for us, put it that way. One thing that we have to be careful of when it comes to behaviors is putting the godlike, I call it the godlike complex, and I think a lot of people think of the godlike complex, and we as humans are the only animals or the only beings on earth that can get a godlike complex. And the godlike complex is when we put everything of a human into nature around us. So a dog needs to think like a human, or we assume that a dog thinks and feels and does the same things as a human. This is far from true. We cannot know how a dog thinks, or we cannot get into the dog's brain and how it thinks, but we do understand the behavior of a dog, what is normal, what is abnormal for a dog. A lot of times there's behaviorists out there, and it takes quite a while to study behavior, and I don't think that you'll ever know everything about their behavior, but working with 10 dogs does not make you a behaviorist. The study of animal behavior is a lifetime study. You have to go through a lot of dogs before you can just diagnose a dog with a certain behavior abnormality. So this is something that you have to be very careful of. I know of a lot and heard of a lot of dogs that have been put down because of abnormal behavior, and all it was just high drive dogs. So, and that was diagnosed by behavior. So we have to be very careful that when we look at behavior, that we can't just look at behavior in that little thing, but we have to look at the behavior in a whole. Where did it originate from? Was it prenatal? Was it just in the beginning phases of upbringing, the imprinting phase? This is where we get to do a lot with dogs that get taken away from their parents, and the 4-week margin. I don't know why people do that, but they want to get rid of the puppies at 4 weeks. That last 4 weeks, that last 2 weeks to before 8 weeks is very critical. It's what mom teaches a lot to the pup. You can see that that dog lacks a certain behavior, especially when it comes into a pack mentality or with other dogs. You can see the lack of behaviors that it hasn't learned. So it is very important for us to know the 3 differences of abnormal behavior, normal behavior, and unwanted behavior. And before we now go and say, oh, my dog's got abnormal behavior, we also have to think of things like, for instance, an anxious dog, a nervous dog. Nervousness is the key for a lot of behavior problems, like, for instance, scared of thunder, separation anxiety, all those kind of things. And we can already, as puppies, choose the right dog. Now, if you want to know how to select your personal protection dog, go and have a look at our video which we dealt with on how to select a puppy, and that will help you to select the right puppy for what you want to do. So the other thing about behavior is it is not a conversation we can have in an hour. It is a conversation we're going to have for many, many days, and there will be different approaches to it and different viewpoints to it. But things that you as a dog owner should know, that there is a difference between an abnormal and an unwanted behavior. So be very careful of diagnosing your high-strung, high-drive Malinois with abnormality, and that is absolutely normal to it. And unfortunately, the dog gets put down because he is a threat to society. That is behavior in a short little nutshell. If you'd like to know more about behavior, please feel free to ask questions at the bottom. I will answer as much as my knowledge is on behavior. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to our channel, like this video, and watch out for our next video.